Yo, what's up? It's Danny Smiles. You're watching BraveWords, and I'm going to try to growl BraveWords right now.
Metal Tim from BraveWords.com, and I'm sitting actually with, I think, the true rock star of the festival, and I'm not trying to blow smoke up your whatever, but you guys are really renowned for what you do. So introduce yourself. Danny?
Yeah, Danny Smiles from Crown Salt's Catering. We've been catering the Osheaga Festival, which is like the indie big festival here in Montreal, and then followed always by Heavy Montreal, previously Heavy MTL. We've been doing it for 7 years, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, definitely.
Well, I say rock star because you guys are renowned for some of the greatest food at any festival on the planet.
I think to start off is because we're not caterers. We own 2 restaurants here in Montreal. So Le Garde Manger and Le Bremner. Those are 2 restaurants in Montreal. And then we were asked to do this catering. So we don't come in with a mindset of a catering. We come in as a restaurant and always, trying to bring the highest quality ingredients. And I'm not saying caterers don't do that, but I think we have a pretty good budget, and I think we really know how to, assemble and bring in a lot of cooks from all over the city, because I don't have a team, right? I have to keep everybody at the restaurant, so we kind of pick and choose from other restaurants and who's not working. So we build like this Mossad of cooks, and then come down here and then just cook for about like 2 weeks, and we'll do about 2,000 people a day. For Osheaga, Heavy Montreal, we'll do about like 1,000 people a day. And then, we just do everything from scratch. So we bring in pastry chefs that do everything here. We roast, we brine everything on site. We try to give you flavors of Italy, Quebec, everything that we do. We have a buddy of ours that lived in Thailand for a while. So he came down and started cooking northern Thai food. So his section was super popular. And you know what I mean? And we just have like a nice juice station. So coffee station, full dessert. It's amazing.
How do you balance your vision with the riders? Because you always hear these funny horror stories of bands that need particular things. Yeah. How do you balance what you want to serve and what they want to be served?
I think I try to be as close as possible, and I really try to give them what they want. Just sometimes you just know when you read a rider. Like I've been doing it for like 5 years now, and even 7. Like you read it, you really know that it's not coming directly from the band. Sometimes it's coming from the tour manager that really wants to impress the band, and sometimes you end up meeting at Heavy, you'll just meet the band, and it'll be like Mastodon, for example, would be like, if you're throwing out any food, we'll take it. We eat everything, and it's like guys like that, you want to impress them, you want to give them because they don't ask for anything. You know what I mean? And I love that.
Let's talk about your green thumb, because it obviously comes down to ingredients. In terms of your relationships with the farmers, or where you're getting all your produce, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we have like I said, we have 2 restaurants in the city, and we built a lot of good relationships with farmers. Cooking for 2,000 people, and with the variety that we have, obviously mangoes and lemons are not grown in Quebec or in Montreal, so we have in Toronto, exactly. So we definitely have to bring those in. But if we're looking at right now in August, all the tomatoes, the peppers, the onions, all the mirepoix, which is like the carrot, celery, onion, anything that we could get that's Quebec, that's local, we'll do. Any fish that we could get that's from Canada, we do, and we try to respect that. Like even maple syrup, like from Saint Leon Maple Syrup Farms, from a buddy of mine, we'll go buy that. We'll go get tomatoes from a little farm out here called Beery. So we'll do a bunch of stuff, and then what we can't do is people really want, other things for juices and stuff like that. Is just at this scale. You wouldn't be able to give people the choice, you know what I mean? Like the big choice that we want to give them. And at the end of the day, it's they want that. So it's...
I was amazed last year at Heavy MTL that the spices, that you're growing things right here. So you're actually picking from the dirt to create your
Yeah, those are like finishing touches, right? And it's like they create a nice little, it hides a lot of everything on every station. And we'll have like hot peppers, we'll have little tomatoes, we'll have all the herbs. We just go through so much herbs, better than to get them in like a month before. Get them growing big and just picking from there. And it's kind of romantic when you see it, I guess, when people are walking through. Yeah, it's awesome. It's cool. Like, you're walking through and you're finishing a pasta, fresh basil, throwing it on, a beautiful olive oil. And, people love that. And it's like, especially a lot of musicians these days, they've realized that, well, some are still doing like a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol, but a lot of people are like, traveling the world and noticing that maybe it's, let's see what Montreal has to offer, So a lot of musicians bring in their bikes and go to the market, and I've had so many conversations where bands like, he's like, oh, I'm a cook, or they all have these stories, or where should I go get tomatoes, or I'm going to buy croissants, and it's funny because it's like it's crazy how those two worlds collide. It's really cool. We appreciate them for their music, and they come here and they give us the respect back, and I guess that's why we do it too. We love music, so it's fun to be out here.
Now, us gardeners, and I will put myself in that category. Like, how are of course, yeah, peppers and tomatoes and everything. Are you happy with the season this year?
I'm very happy with the season. I'm big on mushrooms, and there's great chanterelles right now in Quebec. I'm not. What am I not happy with? Asparagus is always too fast. It comes and goes.
It's early.
Yeah, it's early and it's fast, and I wish I could stay a bit longer. Everything else, the peas were all right, but the tomatoes, everything was great actually. Yeah.
Now let's talk about the music. Can you relate to the environment around here?
Yeah, definitely, man. I love music. I played drums. I used to work in a drum shop back in the day. I went to, school. I did I never thought I'd have this aspect in music, So I really do like being behind here, and it's fun to cater to them.
So, if you were asked one key question, what is your specialty? What is the one key menu item that people gravitate to?
At the restaurant or catering? Here, one ingredient.
Or one dish.
One dish, eh? Oh my God, it's so tough because we have so many sections. It's so big. I feel like the salads are really unique because we tend to use vegetables in a way that people wouldn't cook it for themselves, So I think a lot of people are confused and not sure at first, and then you just see people plowing through them. Yeah, then they taste it and it's fresh, and it's cool because, we try to keep it raw. It's like a nice little raw table, and we don't try to separate vegans from vegetarians and from, anybody else. We have those options in there. So
the music world really has gravitated towards, they're brewing their own beers and wines, and they're all foodies. It's did you ever imagine that this would take you to this path?
I kind of see it because they have a lot of time traveling, and they have a lot of time on their hands, and a lot of traveling. Who gets to eat in all the best restaurants in the world? Or musicians, or anybody who gets to travel, you know what I mean? And it's that's the beauty, is just talking to Mastodon, they're like, oh, where should I eat in Czech Republic? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh yeah, I was there in 2010, so telling them where I've been, and they I think they've been already, so it's cool. They get to eat all over the world, It's some guys, they've come and they've eaten at restaurants that I haven't had the opportunity, and it's awesome.
Well, we've got a column called Eat, Drink, and Be Metal. And no, it's an honor, actually. You guys are really the rock stars of this whole environment. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much for having me. I'm happy you're enjoying all the food. And
I'm hungry.
Yeah, let's go eat. You know what? I'm in food since 5 this morning. I do the 5 to midnight shift, so it's
what's the logistics of your team and everything?
The logistics of the team, we're about 45 cooks, and everybody comes in at 9 and finishes at 9. So everybody does a 12-hour shift, and I just don't. And then I'll come in at 5 in the morning, prepare. I'll do breakfast, and then with like a select few, like all like my right hand men, we all come in, and then we pump out breakfast 9 o'clock. We start cooking, and then 10:30 is lunch, 4:30 is supper, and then we close at 8, and we have about an hour of breakdown. That's like 80 hands just working, you know. So
let me get really private with you. Are you sleeping when you go to bed at night? Are you dreaming about the next day of creation?
I'm so dead. I'm like, you know, when I get to bed, I'm just like crash for those 3-4 hours, and I'm like, that alarm rings at 4:30. It's like my mind wants to get up, but my legs don't. I was like, oh my God. I was just like, this morning was fucking brutal. It was just nuts. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it. And then I leave tomorrow for BC. It's just, yeah, my schedule right now is crazy. But it's good. I love it. I need this in my life. I can't be at home. I can't be, you know, I'm not that guy. I need to be busy at all times. I love the craziness.
One of my favorite chefs, I've never heard him complain like you did right now. Anthony Bourdain, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Punk rocker, right, know what I
yeah.
mean? Really schooled in the whole environment.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I love what I do. I don't, you know, so I don't know if my body loves what I do, but I like it. It's good. It's fun.
True rock star of the fest.